I'm smoking pot. I got my dick out. And I'm thinking about you. And I'm thinking about you. I'm smoking pot. I got my dick out. And I'm thinking about you. Just you.
I got my dick out. And I'm thinking about you. Thinking about you.
I'm driving along. I'm singing a song. And I got my dick out. And I'm thinking about you. I drank a six-pack. I took my pants off. Oh, I love you. I love you.
I'm smoking pot.
Hey, when are they going to make one of these masks that don't smell like bad breath? This is the perfect ventriloquist thing. I love it. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Stump The Joke Man. Today is October 26th. Boy, is time fly. We're probably up to like 20-something shows already. And I am so happy to be here COVID-free with the wonderful Jackie the Joke Man Martling. And we're a couple of days away from Halloween. We have a lot of weird things going on. Politics is a poppin', which we don't do anything about. But Jackie told me he's got a great judge joke tonight, which we're looking forward to hear. And I have a funny Jewish joke that was told to me by my friend about, well, I'll tell you in a few minutes. First, let's bring on the man of the hour, the man that everyone knows and likes, that's starting to look like Peter Gabriel really slowly, very quickly, with a long gray beard. Here he is, the wonderful Jackie, the Joke Man Martling. Come on in. There he is.
Hello, my brother.
How are you?
We got to have that introduction be half as long. And every week, I mean to tell you, it says tonight's show, you got to put an apostrophe. You know what a nut I am for grammar and spelling and all. Every week I say, you got to remember to say to John, tonight's show with the apostrophe.
I went to public school.
Oh, Jesus. You wouldn't believe who I bumped into on my way back from my eye surgery.
Who did you bump into? First of all, I didn't even know you had eye surgery.
Oh.
Did Barbara have eye surgery, or is she still there?
No, if she had got eye surgery, she wouldn't be with me.
That's what I was trying to say. What happened with your eyes, first of all? What happened?
You're the worst straight man that ever carried a dummy.
Hit me.
You'll never guess who I bumped into on my way back from eye surgery.
Who did you bump into?
Everybody.
I swear to God, I didn't know you were setting me up. I had no idea.
Is that the worst joke you ever heard?
And I am the worst straight man.
And everybody laughs at that joke. And when I said to my family, my sister said the answer as I got to the end of the setup. And I'm like, oh, you heard that before? She said, no. She's so fast and smart and logical. It just sucks all the humor out of everything. You know?
Yeah, but she's sharper than I am. I don't see that coming.
She is sharp as a tack. She's great. Katie Dunn, my wonderful sister. And it was my niece's the 23rd is her birthday, but it was her birthday last night. We went over, and she's got twins that are a year and 2 months old, and they are just so spectacular. It just makes my whole life. So I'm a family man right now, except I'm losing my mind. I'm watching this horrible television show. Did you ever get sucked into Designated Survivor?
No, I've not. No.
Oh, don't. It's one of those shows where in the course of a half hour, you say, that's bullshit 40 times. That couldn't have. So enough of that. So I got to tell you this joke. It's got nothing to do with science.
I'm waiting. I'll blow you up on the screen.
I know you know this joke.
I love every joke.
So the girl is on the girl's on the witness stand. She says, I was walking down the sidewalk and he grabbed me and he dragged me in the alley and he lifted up my dress and bent me over a garbage can and pulled down my panties. Oh, I can't even remember what happened next. The judge says, make something up. Make something up.
I like the way you do it, the way you look like you have your hand in your crotch, like make something up.
You can tell. You can tell. So science. What's science? You know, I had scientific jokes in mind. And I don't remember what they were. You know.
Hey, they say Charlie Fisher's here. He says you're looking more like Peter and Paul and Mary.
One of the, I always get mixed up who, but the one of the, either Peter or Paul graduated from Michigan State University, and I think he was the one that went to jail for pedophilia.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Didn't Peter, Paul, and Mary sing Puff the Magic Dragon?
They absolutely did.
That's
It's such a great story. Oh, and this is scientific. This is scientific. You know, we should tell some dick jokes first.
That's what I'm all in for.
So there's 3 med students,
Mm-hmm.
3 girls, the med students, and they're walking behind a really old professor. And he's walking really slow with a very weird gait. And the first girl says, look at that. You can tell by the way he's walking that he's got a weak heart and he can't really get enough air to walk. And the second girl says, no, I think he's got dementia and he's kind of not sure where he's going. And the third girl says, no. He's just old and slow, just old and slow. So they catch up with the guy and they tell him what their ideas are, what their hypotheses are. And he says, girls, you're all wrong. You're all wrong. You, I don't have dementia. And no, I'm not so old I can't walk. And no, I'm not lost. I shit my pants.
I didn't know the joke. I didn't know it. I love it when I hear a joke I don't know, and my mind is racing.
It's not even good. It's a
good joke. You want to hear a quick one that I love? I don't know. There's so many variations of this, though. So I really upset my wife during sex last night. I woke her up. I like that. Right to the point. There's not much going on there. Hey, look who's here. It's Charlie Fisher.
Right in the middle of an orgasm, I woke up my wife. I called her.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Hey, Charlie, how are you? Look at him. He's sitting in there. He's got a different shirt on because people were making fun of him last week.
You know, it's the same shirt, different color. I think it's just dirtier.
No, it's inside out. That's what it is.
No, the shirt's right. Charlie's inside out.
Oh, here we got the comments coming in. Good evening, gentlemen. Once again, I apologize for calling you gentlemen. Hey,
fuck off, Golasso. So listen to this one. So I always smuggled pot into the Cannes Film Festival. I always had pot. So I'm good friends with Tom Bernard, and he gets me. We go out to Paul Allen's yacht. Wow. We're on Paul Allen's yacht.
For people that don't know who's Paul Allen,
the creator with Bill Gates of Microsoft, the gazillionaire. Right. He dropped out decades ago, just wanted to enjoy his money. He bought a yacht, and he went on his yacht to Cannes every year just so he could play on the boat with his band, and people could come out. You know, I was dancing next to Jane Fonda. Okay, so that year. They just released the U2 3D movie. I don't know if you remember. There was a U2 3D movie.
Sure.
And it was the most incredible 3D because usually it's so hokey, and if you're not sitting right in the middle, you know.
Right.
But the cameras were moving. You really were there, and it was like a most spectacular thing. So I go out and I'm on the side of the boat, and I'm talking to this guy, and I said, what do you do? He says, I'm working on the U2 3D movie. I'm on the 3D tech crew. And I'm like, wow. I said, that's cool. And he said, and you're Jack and Joke Man. I said, yeah, you know. And I said, how great would it be if we had a joint? And he said, yeah, right, but we're in France. Don't be ridiculous. So I pull out a joint, and his head explodes, and we start getting stoned. And he tells me a story, and I checked the story on the Google. Nowadays somebody tells you a story.
You could check, yeah.
The guy that wrote the song, Puff the Magic Dragon, went on to become a developer of film or whatever, and he had a real lot to do with the creation of 3D film.
Get out of here.
And the way that 3D works, which makes sense once you hear it, the whole thing works off a center line. Like here's a center line, and these two things are here, and then one's a little bit like a hair
Off.
So
Right.
that's how you get the perspective. That's why if you have one eye, you can't see 3D.
Yeah, I
You
remember when you look at 3D without those glasses, you could see it. It's like overlaid with two different, like
Right,
three colors,
it's
like
two
red,
different
green, and
things.
blue or something.
But
Primary.
they all go off a center line.
Uh-huh.
And in homage to that guy who helped create 3D movies, that center line is called Honolulu. Do you know Puff the Magic Dragon? In a land called Honolulu.
Yeah,
So the
Honolulu.
center line in 3D is the Honolulu line. How great is that? Is that the most worthless trivia you've ever heard in your
No,
life?
it's actually very cool. And the other interesting thing is that you're on a boat with Paul Allen smoking pot with a guy telling you a story that as you're smoking, you're going, yeah, this is good shit, huh? Come on.
And meanwhile, we're smoking a joint, and I hear a guy go, "Joke man," and he comes over, and it was the guy Adrian from the Five Guys.
You mean we actually interviewed him on the show. Are you talking about
Entourage?
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Adrian, not Adrian Brody, Adrian somebody. But he was a real great kid. I got a great picture of that. We've probably shown that picture in our 14-hour opening,
I have actually a bunch of pictures. I was looking at some of these pictures today. I have a picture here. I don't know if they're actually the first time I met you, believe it or not. And this was the night. I think because I remember what you were wearing. And
that's a little gay.
Yeah, it was really gay. I was very gay for you back then. Oh yeah.
Good. I like you.
Yes, very much so. There you go.
Unfortunately, I was with Galasso. Oh, look at that coat. Oh,
look
my
at that
God.
checkered coat.
Oh, you know what? This is probably 1992.
Something like that-ish.
I've been working with a guy who's so good at fixing stuff. He shoots all the stuff I do, and it turned out, did I tell you about the show at CW Post with Gary?
No.
And Fred?
No. I've been.
This guy calls me up. He says, Jackie, I don't know if you remember me. Me and Gary and Fred did a show in 1987 at CW Post College, which is right around the corner here.
Sure.
And the kid booked us, and the college wouldn't give him a big room because he didn't think he'd do good.
Right.
We had a line around the building, packed it in, and after the show, the kid says, that was great. I love you, man. He said, Jackie, I'd like to come work for you as an intern. The guy has MS, like has it bad.
Okay.
But I'm like, of course. So the guy came and actually worked with me and Nancy's mother and JC, who was part of the Jokeland crew for 6 months. And I guess got his credits or whatever. And of course, we treated him great. And there wasn't much to do except eat barbecue chicken and listen to me laugh at myself. A couple months ago, this guy calls me up.
Recently now.
Yeah, a couple months ago and says, Jackie, this is Peter Otto. I don't know if you remember me. I have MS. I was the guy who was your intern. I'm like, well, let me just go through the Rolodex of all our interns that had MS and see if I can remember you.
Yeah, I guess,
I remember you, right? He enjoyed doing that show so much that now he owns 12 movie theaters and he books 100 movie theaters. And I'm like, you got to be kidding! Oh, so it was like almost a year ago. I said, I got a documentary coming out. He said, we'll be showing it in all my theaters. And then the COVID hit. Okay. So meanwhile, I said, Peter, not for nothing, but you know how I've got all the shit in my garage. I said, I think I have a VHS copy of that show. And I got it down, but of course it's not going to work. And I gave it to my guy, Ed. Not only do we have it, it's a 2-camera shoot.
Oh, it's high end. Yeah, because that was shot by Perna Communications back in
No,
the
no, this is
Was it?
one of the few that weren't. This was like where
Oh.
we handed. No, this is not at Rascals. This is at CW Post.
CW Post.
Like
okay.
I think Nancy was backstage with a camera and somebody had a camera. So now I know he can do this. The other day, I gave him a show from 1986 at Mr. Rips. That might
Mr.
even be.
Rips,
Is that
Valley
before your
Cottage, New
comedy?
York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on stage. I haven't seen it yet, but he said no. It came out. It's as good a copy. You know, I thought none of these tapes were good anymore. He said no. It's like you're right there.
Dude, I got Betamaxes. That's still
that's crazy.
Betamax. Yeah.
So I had so much fun. So meanwhile, I'm looking at. I got so much crap up here. You know.
So you guys.
seeing it all.
Did you watch the jokes that you were doing in '86?
No, I didn't because I'm so scared it's going to be like last night. You know, I used to always say that. Hey, I'll never forget the first time I saw Bob Nelson. How could I forget? I saw it again last night. But that's the same with me. You know, people say, look at all the stuff in your garage. I'm like, yeah, it's all the same joke.
You know, I asked Bob Nelson to come on the show, and he didn't want to do it. He don't want to do anything. He didn't want to do anything. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with
Probably because he don't want to be associated with Dirty Jackie.
Dirty Jokes, because he's a very Christian guy. And I've worked with him before, and he was always the nicest man. He has a nice kid.
No, he's a sweetheart of a guy.
Great guy. Hey, so wait a minute. So you I would want to see. I mean, first of all, I always hate myself. You know, you always hate yourself.
You know what? You're so excited to see it. I have it on my Dropbox, and I haven't looked at it yet because I know I'm going to go, oh, you know.
You're going to hate it because you hate yourself from the past. You always do. You always think now is better than before. And you don't realize that every phase of growing that glass of milk is good up until it goes bad. It's all good. It's all
right. But and in retrospect, in your mind, it was unbelievable wall-to-wall laughter bouncing off the walls, and I'm so scared it's going to be. Is this on? You know.
I would love to see that, and I bet you something. You know what's sad? If we're doing the same jokes.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
If the jokes are some of the same, like 30 years later, we're like, oh, this is not good. We haven't changed.
So
anything.
often somebody sends me a joke, and I say, that's from 1979. What did you expect? You know.
Yeah, but for you. So, suddenly, Jackie, this is turning into a therapy session from old comics.
Oh, you know, that's what our lives are.
You know? Oh, we got people saying hello, ciao, hello, Gianni. Look, I got a lot of people.
Gianni Siniscacci, Jesus.
Gianni.
So, I got one announcement to make. My good friend Sid, there's a charity called Rock and Wrap It Up, where it started off where they collected the food from backstage at rock concerts, like at Jones Beach and stuff.
Right. And
in 20 years, it's grown to where they get the food after Major League Baseball games, hockey games, football games.
What you mean the leftover?
TV sets, the leftover, like if there's now it's written into movie contracts. If you want to shoot in Bayville, any leftover food has to be given to, you know, it's grown immense. So he does all these crazy things. And he even came up with an app. And I don't know if we're talking about science. If I have a hamburger and I'm not going to eat it, the optimum thing for me to do is to give it to a homeless person to eat the hamburger. That's good.
Okay.
But not only that, if I give it to him to eat, that it doesn't go into the garbage. When it goes into the garbage, it gives off CO2. So if somebody eats it, not only does it get eaten and nourish somebody, but the CO2 doesn't go. So it's a win-win. And he has an app. You can actually calculate how much you're saving by saving so much food. At any rate, he does it miraculous crap.
They say when cows eat the grass, they give off methane. Don't they give off methane?
Yeah, and cow farts are an incredible source of, you know, it's fracking in cow farts. So the bottom line is Sid puts these things together and he's having a huge concert, a streaming concert on Saturday night, 8 p.m. It's a free concert streaming on nugs.tv. Now, I'd never heard of this, but all the young kids, I guess, this guy started it. For 30 years, he was one of those guys that went to Grateful Dead concerts and recorded the shows. But now it's got this incredibly huge thing where people pay money and you can access any concert in the world from 40 years ago but he's doing this free. He's doing it for Sid. So it's like New Riders of the Purple Sage, the Sons of the Allman Brothers Band, the Zen Tricksters, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Sharon Osbourne's introducing, Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead, and 10 minutes of me. So I
When's
recorded my
the
jokes.
date? When is this?
Halloween night, 8 o'clock this Saturday.
And
So
give me the
you know,
website. I'll put it up. What's the website?
Nugs.tv.
How do you spell that?
Nugs. Nugs.
Nugs.
I never heard of it, but all the kids know. Nugs. In fact, I think it came in one. I think it was really hip in the 90s. And then, you know, I'm so out of the loop, you know. I just heard
No,
about
but I must be
television.
out of the loop because I try to be up on all this. Here it is, October 31st, the cheese incident, Halloween at home streaming live on Nugs TV. I never heard of Nugs TV. This is so cool, actually. I'm really. But wait a minute, I don't see. All right, let's see. I'm going to bring up the page. I could bring it up and show everybody here really
Oh,
quick.
you're kidding.
Yeah, I could bring anything up here. I'm technically not challenged at the moment.
You're a marvel.
Yeah, something like that. Let's see what it says here. Let's see if it comes up. All right. Tell me if you could see it. And there you go. And I'll make it a little bit bigger, just like she said. And this is what I'm seeing here right now. Halloween, string cheese incident, 10:30, 10:31, 8 p.m. Swanee Halloween, Hampton Coliseum, Hampton, Virginia, live in Oaks, Florida. Anyway, this is at nugstv.com.
I just sent you the
I won't get that, but this Nugs TV. It shows all the upcoming stuff that's going to be on here. Metallica, Jamie Watt and the Minx, Animal Collective. Wow, really very cool. That's really cool, Jackie. You're going to go do 10 minutes?
I did it already. I recorded it already.
Oh, there it is. Oh, cool. Okay, well, let's let people know. Go to nugs.tv. If you want to check that out. We will rock and Rap You concert.
Rock and Wrap It Up is the name of the charity.
Very cool. Very
Rock
cool.
and Wrap It Up. Now I hope we didn't get bumped since then. You know, I'm sure they'll promote it more when it gets time, but it's advertised all over the damn place.
Mm-hmm.
And Sid is just the greatest. He's also a DNA guy. He's also the guy that came up with the whole idea of measuring home runs. I mean, this guy is beyond interesting. He's
Who thinks about
character.
stuff like that? Who thinks about that?
Yeah, you know, he was working with microbes and the distance between microbes and atoms or something. He said, "Oh, you know, this did wind up being a science show." You know,
Dangerfield is closed, so the world is really coming to an end. Did you ever? I worked Dangerfield a few times, but I heard it was going to reopen. That's what I heard. Somewhere else.
That is, well, I hope that they're saving that marquee out front. That should be saved and put up somewhere in New York City or in some restaurant or in the Hard Rock Cafe.
In Jokeland.
Jokeland. You know.
Stick it in there. But I heard they were going to reopen later on under another location because this place, they couldn't work with them with the money and all that or whatever.
But when they do that, you know, the
beginning of the end.
Yeah, the second wave never lasts, you know. No, you know, I don't know if it's closed already, but it was still being run by Tony Bavacqua, who was there when I first started hanging with Rodney in 1979, 1980.
I remember.
It's the same guy.
I also remember being booked there from Linda at Coastal Entertainment for spots. And I remember going in the very first time I went in there, I couldn't believe it was dark and dingy. There was red velvet little lamps on the tables, and you couldn't see the audience when you went on the stage. There was a piano to your right there. And I remember it was like, it's real nitty gritty comedy.
Yes, I know you're out there. I can hear you breathing.
Yeah, I love it. I actually liked it though. I really did like it.
Oh, it was just wonderful. You know,
you were there a lot.
Do you know the story? Stop me. I know you've heard this.
I don't want to stop. We're here for everybody else. We have
Rodney once in a while would call up and run something by me. Not all the time. But I was telling the story that I'm about to tell you to a few guys at the Friars Club. We're sitting there at a table over lunch, and I was telling we're telling Rodney stories. I said, one time Rodney called me and said, listen, I got a joke here. I think it's pretty good, but I don't know. It might be too strong. You know, I need a judgment call, Jack. Tell me if this is too strong. I get no respect. I got a parrot calls me Jew bastard. I said, well, I don't know if it's too strong, but it's the funniest thing I ever heard. And then I said to these guys, I said, to tell you the truth, I don't even know if it ever made it into his act because we weren't that close.
So.
And, you know, so 2 seconds later, Dick Capri, you know who that is?
Of course, I asked him to
comedian.
come on the show. He hasn't returned my call. I think he's.
He comes and leans over the table and he says, I got to tell you, not only did that joke make it into Rodney's act, that was his signal joke.
Really?
So when he was on stage at Dangerfields, if you were in the dressing room, which was right below the stage, and there was a little speaker in the dressing room, and you were in there getting a blowjob or fucking some girl, if you heard him do, I got a parrot calls me Jew bastard, that meant pull your pants up because that's his last joke. He's on his way down. Which I told the guys I'm having lunch with, it looks like I set that up, but I didn't. Dick just happened to be within hearing distance. Oh,
And how many of the stories of, I remember going into, it was so funny. I remember the very beginning when I first started working. Matter of fact, Bruce was the MC was the house MC. He moved to Pennsylvania. Bruce who? Bruce.
Where?
At Dangerfields. Stand-up
you mean
comic.
David Heenan?
No, Bruce. He had gray hair.
Smirnoff?
No, he's a young guy. He had, I'm forgetting his name. Bruce something. Nice guy. He was the head of the PCA, the Professional Comedians Association, in the early '90s. Bruce something, whatever. But I remember going into place.
Are you sure you mean Bruce?
Yeah.
The PCA. There was a lot of PCA members.
Yeah, there
That
was.
was so early on, man. Well, I think I was number 6. Where they're everybody's trying to get a little bit more money. You sure it wasn't Bruce Smirnoff?
No. I got the guy's picture. I can see his face in my mind's eye. Just forget his last name. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. I mean, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. He's a stand-up comic. He still does comedy, and he's in Pennsylvania. But anyway, I just remember going into seeing Bruce, and you know, I remember there was like Asian people coming off the bus right over there on First Avenue, and they would come off and they'd go, "Where's Rodney?" They would come in like, "Where's Rodney? Where's Rodney?" They thought they would go walk in and Rodney was going to be there every day, and he wasn't there.
I know, it freaked people out, you know.
It was a great time, though. It was a great time. So listen, let me ask you a question, because we're missing some jokes here. But before I even go into, because you and I could always go 100 miles an hour over silly things, but back in those days, I was looking at this picture and I was thinking about this today. I remember this photo. I'm trying to find it right now. I remember this photo. Here it is. I'm trying to remember this photo in your gay jacket here. Mine was worse. It was green with a high collar. But I worked at, this was West Orange Rascals Comedy Club.
Right.
Turner Communication was doing this. Is the first
He
time
shot everything.
First time you and I met. First time we worked together. Probably no brainer for you. You were probably on the Stern Show at the time. And to me, this was a big thing because they were taping. It was very big for me. I remember thinking, oh, boy, this is so great. And that night, I remember you were backstage. You were napping in between you were like this.
Oh, I'm sure, man. I've been up since 4:30, you know.
Yeah, I remember. And then when I got done, I remember I came off. I was like, thank you. Good night. And they said, don't leave until Jackie comes back on the stage. And I was like, good night. Thank you. Thank you very much. You've been great. And like, they were like, somebody had to go to the back room in the green room and go, Jackie, he's done. And you came like, hey.
I'll tell you the exact opposite of that. We were working one night, and I think it was some kind of anniversary show, and everybody was supposed to do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it was. But I think the minimum was like 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe it was 20 minutes. And I really wasn't a cocaine guy. I didn't do it much. I would do it if somebody else had it, you know, whatever. And I was hosting. And I introduced Bobby Collins. And Rascals, you know, you're in the front. And then when you get off stage, you walk all the way to the left, all the way along the side, all the way across the back. And that's where the office was. But that's the way. It was quite a traverse to get to the front.
Yes.
So I get to the back, and they're celebrating because it's an anniversary, and Mark's got a huge pile of Coke, and I never really do Coke. But I'm like, what? And they put out all these big and I snorted more cocaine than I would ever do. And I guess Collins either bombed, or he didn't like the crowd, or he just said, hey, this is free. What do I care? And all of a sudden, so I snorted all this Coke, and he's like, I got to go. And he bails. And I'm like, holy shit. So not only did I just do this coke, I ran the length of, because there was no signal from me. So I ran the length of the back, ran to the front, so I sprinted the perimeter of Rascals. And when I hit the stage, whoa! You know, the rush of the coke, I thought I had gone out. I'm staring at the people like, because I just
Really?
wasn't used to that. Because
Wow.
that's the craziest thing you can do is do that kind of exercise right after. It's a
Everything.
miracle I didn't die of a heart attack, you know.
Right.
That was so much fun, that place. Oh, my
It was
God.
a great place. And so was the one at the Shore. The Shore was a great comedy club as well.
That was
Hey,
so terrific.
Oh, here I go. My friend just said, this is Sam Ash. Bring back Rodney and screw the marquee. You're right. He's saying that most people don't even know he was Jewish. Is that true? Uh-huh. By the way, this guy, Sam Ash, is a friend of mine.
Jacob Cohen.
You're right. Very good. Very
You know,
good.
it's so funny. They asked me to do a little quick piece. They were having a holiday party for Hebe magazine. There was, I don't know if you know, there was an actual magazine.
Name Hebe?
Heeb, but it was Jewish guys, and it was called Hebe, which I never got over. And I said, yeah, I'll come. And it was down at Joe's, whatever it's called, that really nice place, Joe's, not Joe's Cafe, whatever it's called. And they said, everybody gets up and tells a 5 or 10 minute story about a Jewish friend. And I got up and said, well, I want to talk about my Jewish friend, Jacob Cohen.
Right.
And they're like,
who?
yeah. And then I explained it. It went from, you know, Jacob Cohen to Jack Cohen to Jack Roy to Rodney Dangerfield, you know. So funny. So
This friend of mine, Sam, told me this Jewish joke, which I thought, even though tonight's science and sex, but it's
now, is that Sam Ash anything to do with Sam Ash?
No.
Because I know Sam Ash.
This is not the original Sam. This is the Sam, not the store Sam Ash.
Okay, because there's a Sam Ash who had 2 kids, and then they had a kid named Sam. Sammy Ash is.
Oh, I wonder.
Is the grandson. Good guy, and that's
this guy is one of my
Carrie
favorites.
Ash along the line. You must have met this woman, Carrie Ash. So this is a different Sam Ash.
He's very clever. This guy. He's a very clever guy. He's one of my. I like him because he's so clever. He's into marketing and stuff. He markets things. And he told me this joke the other day. And I remember, and you know how you get a joke in your head and it becomes like your favorite joke of the week kind of thing. You just do it 100 times everywhere you go, and then it becomes like embedded, and then it gets pushed into the back. So that's what happened with this joke. And tell me if you heard this joke, because I never heard it. And I thought it was cute. And it's like, I guess it's a variational joke, but so there's these 2 little Jewish kids. They're 10 years old. They live in, let's say, a very conservative. You know where I'm going already?
No, not yet. You just started 20 different jokes. Go ahead.
So let's say it's Shelley and Yitzky. All right, they're 10 years old and they think they're in love. And the father of Shelley is a rabbi. So the little boy says, I want to talk to your dad. And he goes over, he goes, Mr. Levine, I want to marry your daughter. We're in love. And he goes, the father doesn't want to laugh. He's like, he holds back and he says, all right, before you, let me ask you a question. Where are you going to live? And the little boy goes, well, Shelley has a very big bedroom. We'll live in your house. So he's holding back his laughter and he goes, all right, what are you going to do for money? And he goes, well, I make $10 a week in allowance and so does she. That's $80 a month. And he's like thinking, this kid's got it. All right. Well, he's one more question. He goes, what are you going to do when the little ones come? And the kid goes, we've been lucky so far.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you know that joke?
Yeah, in a matter of speaking a million different ways. But that,
Okay.
you know, that,
I love that joke now. That's like my joke of the week.
it's an 8-year-old kid says to the barmaid, you know, give me a beer. Kid, what do you want to get me in trouble? Maybe after the beer, you know. It's the same crap.
How about this one? I go to get my teeth cleaned, and the dentist goes, are you ready? It's going to hurt a little bit. I said, okay, I'm ready. He goes, I'm fucking your wife.
I don't know that. That's great.
Oh, I got you on one. Thank God.
That's
Thank
great.
God.
You got me.
God.
Jackie, I have to drill. Go ahead, Doc, but you hold my testicles. I know, and we're not going to hurt each other. All
Now,
you know what about the guy that goes into the dentist's office, sits down, pulls down his zipper, and takes out his cock?
yeah.
And the dentist says, what are you doing? I'm a dentist. And he says, There's a tooth in there.
You know, there's
never
another
gets old.
version of that where an old lady goes there and pulls up a dress, and he goes, "There's teeth in there." Her husband's teeth. You know, there's another guy just wrote here in the check. Let's see, it says, "Look at that. Look how nice." Chris is going. Just checking, Jackie. You're the best. Sending you a big hug.
That's so gay, and I will take it. Every goddamn person that watches your shows, their names end in a vowel. You know, I did a roast for that guy that was the mayor of West Patterson at the Brownstone. And I sat at a table with 12 guys, and I swear, and I'm not even exaggerating, there wasn't one guy at the table besides me whose name didn't end in a vowel. You know,
Really?
it was, you know, Paul Borghese and you know, all of them, you know.
I just did a party, a wedding the other night in Staten Island at the Richmond County Country Club. Everyone was real mobbed up Italian. I don't want to say who what, but at the end of the show, a guy comes over to me and he goes, "Dude, you were so funny." He goes, "You ever hear this joke?" He goes, I heard this joke." He goes, when I got arrested, when the cop put me in the car, he's a big Irish cop. He threw me in the car and he told me this joke. He says, I had cuffs on. I'm thinking, I think that's part of the joke, but he's not. He's telling me he was, and looking at the guy, I could tell he was arrested probably many times.
He's painting the scenario for you.
Yeah. He goes, so this big Irish cop, he throws me in the car and he says to me, "How come Italy is shaped like a boot?" And I said, "I don't know." And he goes, "Because you can't fit that much shit in a shoe."
Now, the Irish guy told that to...
After he arrested
was
the
an
Italian
Irish
guy.
cop. That's great. You can't fit that much shit in a sneaker. Oh,
I never heard that. I thought it was funny as hell. I thought it was great. And you know something? It's burnt. It's whoop. There goes my thing. It's burnt in my head forever. Oh, here's I'm out of focus. There you go. I'm way out of focus. Look at that. Whoa.
You know
There
what?
you go,
That's
I'm
the
back.
Italians getting even with you.
Here you go. So Jackie,
You know why there's shit on the altar at an Italian wedding?
why?
To keep the flies off the bride. And now we're gonna get complaints now.
That's okay.
I told you I did Vinny. Oh, that was last week. I did Vinny's podcast before yours last
How
week.
was it?
You know, it was great fun. You should do that. You should do
He
that.
hasn't asked me. I probably would. I mean, I love Vinny's. They're all good. They've always been good to me. You know.
He would love to have you. No,
not-
when did I do it? I thought I did it just before this.
I don't know. I think you did something else. Then you. I don't know. Anyway, they want you and I to do a show on Comedy Flow. Nice guy. I did it once before, and he said, "Would you, Jackie, come on?" And you said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, let's do it." I emailed him back. I said, "Yeah, we'll do it." And he goes, "Well, it's Monday night at 8:00. I said, "That's when we do the show on Mondays at 8. We have to do it." And he goes, "All right, I'm going to get back to you about a different time." All right, okay, we'll do it. By the way, look who's here. Charlie Fisher, same shirt, inside out. He's there.
Jesus. How are you, Charlie?
Charlie, we'll bring him in. How are you, Charlie?
I'm well, thank you.
He was on the phone with the Friars Club tonight. You know, I guess they're reforming. They didn't. They
he knows
didn't
what
invite
happened.
me.
What happened, Charlie?
was
The
it
Friars
good,
Club
Charlie?
tonight the Friars Club tonight had a what? And you were going to find out what happened. Tell us.
So it was a 2-hour Zoom call, and they have 500 members now. They're going to be back in business, hopefully in January. They hired a marketing company to promote the club. Same old, you know.
You know, if they just had the members and told the members what was going on, we could tell people.
Well,
Who are
that's
they going
the
to
big
market
thing.
to?
They're
What
going
are
to.
they going to go running up and down a synagogue? You know, or they should actually maybe raffle off the remains of Joey Adams. Do you know?
Israel.
Do you know what they did to who did that to him? I'm not sure who did it. I wish I could remember, but there was a picture of Joey Adams somewhere in the Friars Club, and somebody put up like a Riverside Chapel business card and wrote "coming soon" when Joey was still alive.
Charlie, Sam said, who did they hire as the marketing company? That's what he does. He does marketing.
Oh, Concept One.
Concept One. And when are they reopening the club?
Next year, they don't even know.
And
you know.
who's paying for it? That's my question.
Well, the insurance company, the Travelers Insurance, paid them a lot of money for the floods.
Yeah.
Do you know? Did we have this conversation, John, about
Faintly.
this? The oldest joke in the world is the two Jewish guys that run into each other in Miami Beach.
Okay.
And the first guy says to the second guy, "Why are you here?" He says, "Well, I had a terrible fire. Wiped me out, destroyed my business. And I figured, am I going to start again? So I took the insurance money and I moved down here. How about you?" He says, "Well, I lost my business. There was a huge flood and they wiped me out, took my building." I said, "What, am I going to start again?" "I took the insurance money and moved down here." And the first guy says, "How do you start a flood?" And the Friars Club is in the middle of Manhattan on 55th Street, and they had a flood. And now they got the insurance money. It's like you couldn't make it up.
I think the staff is on the water. There's my other friend, Ron. Hey, no, this is No Filter Ron. This is the only guy who uses the N-word because he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, please.
No Filter Ron. His natural speaking is worse than your Rodney joke.
Oh, gee.
Which, by the way, to give Rodney a chance joke, can we do this in the environment that we live in today? Are we allowed to do these jokes?
It's so stupid. But it's insulting. But every joke is insulting. Every Polish joke is insulting. Every blonde joke is insulting. It's like if nobody gets hurt, it's like, but you're not insulting one person. You're going right across the board. I was thinking about jokes are the perfect thing for this kind of, if you're doing observational stuff, you're taking something that's wrong and talking about it, maybe getting laughs, but it's still all wrong. When you do a joke, you create a horrible situation, you make fun of it, there's a laugh, and then the whole thing goes away. So it's a self-contained bubble and it bursts and it's gone. By the way, I like the self-contained bubble expression. That's actually a very good analogy.
As
opposed to, talking about, the Cross Bronx is so dangerous. There was an accident, blah, 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 and you get done, and the Cross Bronx is still dangerous, So I figured what I would do is take out my dick. So that's why I have my dick out, just like that guy on the Zoom call. And
what else is Congress.
New? Jesus Christ.
By the way, I love this. I love the song. Hey, speaking of taking out your dick. So let me just get back to this a second. I got a picture here, and I was looking at this picture. You don't remember this night, though. I'm sure you don't.
Well, I did the Rascals. First of all, the Rascals Comedy Hour, I hosted for an entire year, and I know that was one of them because they used to do my hair. My hair would never have looked like that unless somebody poofed it up before the show. So that's,
I can tell right now. I can see. How about this?
The girl that did that, Linda Romano, she passed away. Her little sister, I'll think of it.
Now, is that Bobby Woods and?
That's Dave Hawthorne and me and Bob Woods. There was Bob Nelson and Eddie Murphy and Rob Bartlett were in a group together, put together by King Broder, who was a booking agent, a mobster booking agent from Long Island.
He wasn't a mobster.
Of course he was. And he created the identical triplets, the joke being Eddie was black, and had a lot of success with them. And after Eddie went big time, he ignored King, and King sued him for $1 million or a couple million, and he got the money because
I remember
he signed them up. He
signed everybody up.
He bet every horse in the race, and of course you're gonna have a winner. So then he wanted to make lightning strike twice, which is so funny. Billy West used to say the definition of Hollywood is a bunch of people standing around and lightning strikes, and everybody runs over to that spot and waits for it to hit again.
God, is that the truth or what?
Is that great? So he puts me and Woods and Hawthorne together.
Right.
And the greatest 2 days of my life were the three of us getting drunk in my mother's attic, the first Jokeland, trying to name the group. And we had a list. I wish I could find it. And we had 2 pages of the worst names. We wound up being the Rolling Clones, which is just so bad. But my favorite out of all of them was the 3 must have beers.
Did you guys do like a little tour together, or you just did one or two gigs?
We did a couple of shows, like there's one great picture of me and Eddie Murphy and Rob Bartlett on stage at the East Side Comedy Club, and that was from the night of the first annual Rolling Clones Awards show, the one and only, and we just gave out awards for anything was an excuse to have fun back then, but
Hey,
we
question.
didn't get anywhere. We didn't do it,
Well,
nothing
we're all-
special about us.
Everyone just tries to put this stuff. By the way, I just got somebody texted me a message here a little earlier asking you a question, and I can't answer it, but let's see. Where is it? Here it is. Ronald Ford. Did Joke Man write anything for Bob Levy, which, by the way, is spelled incorrectly, but okay.
No, but yes.
Yeah, I know where you're going because I know this story. Bob has told me many times.
Yeah, because when I started on the Stern Show, I was working one day a week on Tuesdays at WNBC in the afternoon, and I wasn't getting paid. And I got the bright idea, and I said, "Hey, Mark, I know that you have an open mic night. Why don't you make the open mic night on Tuesday and let me host it? I can promote it on the Howard Stern Show, and you can pay me, even if you don't get many people in here, because it's worthwhile to you to get Rascals advertised on." And the Howard Stern Show wasn't big or fancy or crazy, but it was NBC AM radio, no matter what. So I hosted open mic night. In fact, I have a bunch of 3/4-inch tapes, the old 3/4.
Yeah.
Now I know they probably work.
I have them too. I have a couple.
But I have most of the nights there were like 10 people in the audience, 30 people in the audience.
Really? Wow.
But I
I'd love
always
to watch
had
that.
the same, there were maybe 10 auditioners, but it was mix and match. You had this 10, and then next week you had a different, maybe 5 were the same and 5 were different, and some people came back once a month. But it was always fun. And the first time that Levy came on stage, he went on stage, and he was so disgusting.
He was.
And then the next week, when he was there and he was going on again, I introduced him as Reverend Bob Levy. And then years later, I see advertised Reverend Bob Levy. Oh, geez, I guess and it's funny. It gives it,
funny.
it puts a whole tongue in cheek to being dirty,
He was from Staten Island, and so was I at the time. And we were like, there was 4 comics from Staten Island at the time. This is like the late 80s, early 90s. And it was myself, Bob Gullub. And
Jesus.
remember Bob, he moved to LA, and also Otto, who used to live down at the near St. George, near the theater over there. I think we were the only 4 comedians in Staten Island, and Otto ended up moving out, and Bob stayed there for a while. I stayed there for a while, and Gullop moved to LA. And I remember, doing, I worked with Bob so many times that I could do his act verbatim, the whole 40 minutes verbatim from beginning to end. In character, and it was so funny. We worked together so much that we just knew each other's act, kind of. It's really funny.
We were on the road together in like 1989 or 3.
Oh, that
and
early?
He rode in maybe 83, whatever.
Later,
but way early. I mean, way early enough because I didn't do the road really, but we worked like Columbia, Georgia, and whatever, 2 or 3 of like Atlanta, Columbia, where you did the the gigs, and then you drove to the next one, and oh my God, I mean, I had like claw marks in the windows, and he's a nice guy, but yay.
He's a great guy, and he was edgy at that time. He was pushing it. And I got to say, and he was one of the funniest guys I know. He was very clever. He was always very clever. He wrote a joke for me once. To this day, I still do. I mean, a great just line. Comedy is such a strange game. People don't realize. And I look back at those. We spent 3 weeks together in Canada, working for a company and going every night, driving 300 miles and coming back in the middle of nowhere, Canada. We went to Sudbury, which was like 8 hours north of Toronto or something. I don't know. And then back down in one-nighters. And I remember we lived in a guy's basement, took a shower in this guy's house. And it was just really, we were doing that, doing shots, drinking at night, and hanging out in the bay, sleeping late, throwing
The
up.
formative days. There was a gig down in Richmond, Virginia, where the comic stayed in one of the waitress's apartments. Forget a condo. The waitress is on the couch, like, no,
I said it before too. I remember going in like where some of those comedy condos. This turned into a conversation instead of jokes, but I do remember going in where the bed sheets were so hard you could crack them with a stick. They would crack up into pieces. I would go in and take off all the bed sheets, everything off the floor, and turn them upside down and walk with only shoes to lay on the bed, like.
Right.
So
you fold the sheets with a hammer. I sometimes tell stories. This happened. I got a couple stories where this happened so long ago that there was still a telephone in the comedy condo. That after 6 months or a year, there was never a phone in the comedy condo. The comics would call Europe and stay on the phone.
And they ruined it for everybody, because I remember
everybody ruined it for everybody.
You know who's ruined it on the road for me a lot? A lot of people. Otto ruined it for me on the road. Number one, because they would say, "Oh, you like Otto?" And I go, "A little bit, but cleaner," and they hang up on me. Because or it was Angel Salazar. I would go in and they would go, "Salazar was here. He was trying to bang all the waitresses. He was doing this. He's ordering food to his friends. And I'm like, I'm just going to come and do my gig. I'm leaving. I'm not looking. Oh, you better not be like this guy. You better leave the waitresses alone." And I'm like, I'm not into the waitresses.
When you go in after the wrong guy, they think you're going to walk in and lean over and pull a Trump and stick your finger in him.
Hey, let's get back. We only got 8 minutes left. Let's get back to the jokes. I'm ready. We're all good.
So a guy, tell me if I tell you, this is so stupid.
I love it. It doesn't matter.
A guy's in the museum and he's looking at a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to the guard, "How old is that dinosaur?" And the guard says, 66 million years, 4 years, and 6 months. He says, "How can you be that exact?" And he says, "Well, when I started working here, they were 66 million years old, and I've been here 4 months and 4 days." That's really stupid.
It never ceases to amaze me, though, that you pull jokes out that I didn't hear. And I try. You think you know even if you know the premise, you think that you're gonna, it gets you every time. All right, look, a man and a woman have been married for like 30 years, and in those 30 years, they left the lights off every time they're having sex. Every single time, lights off. Now, he's like really embarrassed and scared because he didn't think he could please her. So he got this big dildo and he would just use it on her constantly, night after night after night. She had no clue. So one day they're having sex and she just flips on the light. And she goes, "Aha, I knew it, you asshole. Explain to me that dildo right now." And he goes, "Hey, explain to me the kids." Joke. Good joke.
Good joke.
Nothing to do with science, I don't believe.
So the old guy says to his wife, she says, "It's our 40th anniversary. Why don't we go to the same bar where we met?" She says, "Okay, it sounds like fun." So they go to the bar where they met, and they start having a few drinks. He says, you remember the night we met?" She says, "Oh yeah, yeah. I took you out in the back and I gave you a good fucking." She says, "Yeah. Well, say we give it another go for the old days." She said, "That sounds great." So meanwhile, the guy sitting kind of close to him, and he hears this conversation. He's like, "Hey, he got to see this, right?" So the old couple goes out back, and the old guy turns her around, leans her over the fence, and lifts up her skirt and pulls down her panties and starts fucking her. And next thing you know, these two old guys, this old couple is going berserk. Jumping around. He's fucking her like a college kid. They're going berserk for a couple minutes. And then they just fall on the ground in exhaustion. And the other guy comes over and says, "I can't believe it. You people have to be 80 years old. Holy Christ. Is this what it was like 40 years ago when you did this?" And the guy says, "No, back 40 years ago, this fence wasn't electrified."
Damn, I did hear that. I didn't see it coming. All right. It's good. I like it.
That ain't bad.
All right. There's a teacher. Teacher's teaching a science class about the female anatomy and anatomy, and he says, "This is a vagina." He goes, "This is a clitoris, and this is an anus. Any questions?" And the student says, "Yes. Can I put my pants back on, please?"
That's good.
Is it good?
I don't know that. I don't
Get
know
outta
that.
here.
Oh,
I
I
love
got
it.
to remember that.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you my list. Whenever who's Nino Giamo? We used to have oral sex every night, and as we get older, we still do, except we talk about it. Oh, I like that. That's kind of
No,
good. It's good.
Giamo. It sounds like a curse in Italian.
Yeah, it sounds like, oh, you got the Giamo. Please stay away. He's got the Giamo. But Jack, we only got 4 minutes left here. I got more jokes. I know you do as well. And I'm looking here.
I'm trying to think of something to do with the least bit to do with science.
Yeah, science. You know, when you told me the science, I was thinking like, yeah, science. All right. I don't love the science. So there's a young couple, newlywed.
You know the Polish guy that said to his science teacher, he says, "I'm going to be very famous when I get older." He says, "I'm going to invent a rocket ship and we're going to go to the sun."
Okay.
The science teacher says, "What are you, a moron? You can't go to the sun. You'll burn up." He said, "No, we're going to go at night." It's just the worst. It's the worst joke in the world.
And Sam will notice there's a Jewish joke about that, about lighting a match during Shabbos or Shabbat on Friday nights that you can't light a match. There's a friend of mine told me this. I'm not going to tell this to everyone because I don't think they're going to understand it, but it's about lighting a match on Shabbat.
Yeah, you already lost me, and I'm supposed to know this stuff.
No, you don't know all the Jewish traditions, do you? What about a good Halloween joke? What was the?
What are you supposed to be, kid? I'm a pirate. Where are your buccaneers? Under my fucking hat. That's always a class.
That's a great joke. That's a great joke.
All
right, a newlywed couple. They want to join a church. So the pastor says to them, "Listen, we have special requirements for the parishioners here. You must abstain from having sex for 2 weeks." So the couple agrees, and they come back again in 2 weeks. The pastor says, "Well, were you able to get through the 2 weeks without being intimate?" And they go, "Pastor, I'm afraid we weren't able to have sex for almost 2 weeks." Pastor goes, "What happened?" Because, well, my wife was reaching for a can of corn on the top shelf and it dropped down. And when she bent over to pick it up, I was overcome with lust and I just took advantage of her. And the priest says, "You understand, of course, this means you'll not be welcome in our church." And he goes, "That's okay. We're not welcome in the grocery store anymore either." I know it's a long way to go on it.
So a kid goes to the confessional. And he says, "Father, I think maybe I got a problem. I jerk off all the time. I wake up in the morning, I jerk off, and then I jerk off at school, and then I jerk off during lunch, and after school I jerk off, and then I jerk off at night. Then I jerk off when I get in bed. I just jerk off and jerk off and jerk off." He says, "Son, you better go out, say a few Hail Marys and a few Our Fathers, and I'll talk to you. Go out and sit in one of the pews." So the kid goes out to sit in one of the pews, and there's a lady out there who is there to see the priest, and she baked the priest a bunch of brownies, and she puts the box of brownies on the seat, and she goes in and says, "Father, I was a bad girl. I was thinking very dirty thoughts when I was having sex with my husband." And he says, "Well, that's okay. That's not bad. Just say a few Hail Marys and all will be fine." She says, "Oh, Father, I have something for you." And he says, "Oh, okay." And they go out, and she says, "I baked these especially for you, Father." And she opens up the box, and the box is empty. And she says, "I baked you a box full of brownies. Where are the brownies?" And the kid's sitting there, and the kid says, "I ate them." The priest says, "You ate them? Why'd you eat them?" He says, "I didn't have anything to do." The priest says, "Why didn't you jerk off?"
I never heard it. My face felt red. I never heard it. It's great.
Why didn't you jerk off?
I'll be telling that at my next family party. With that away, Jackie, it's time. We got to get out of here. It's already
Halloween night, 8 p.m. Halloween night, nugs.tv, nugs.tv. It's the new Riders of the Purple Sage from way back when I was in college. And Phil Lesh and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's wife. I guess she's famous on her own now. And the I guess it's the sons of the Allman Brothers have a band, and they're also supposed to have Southland Avenue, who's a great band. And who knows? I was trying to help them get some other bands.
This is virtual. This is all virtual. They could just sign in.
It's pre-recorded concerts from the past, but they're going to be streaming for free, one after the other. And I do like
Saturday
10 minutes
night.
worth of jokes. Great
Halloween.
fun.
This Saturday night, Halloween.
And also Cameo.com.
I got you right there. Cameo.com, jokeland.com. Or if you want to see Jackie come personally give you a joke to your family, right? You or your family.
You know, I just got a 5-star review. They wrote to me and they said, please keep it very clean because the children are probably going to see this, but get wild, but be clean. So I act like my nutty self and did like a couple minutes. I just got a 5-star review and they were like, I can't believe how funny that was. But it's John. It's so easy when you're just you're facing the camera.
Just,
you know,
you're having a good time.
You know.
Yeah, I'm doing a corporate virtual on Wednesday actually and Thursday, and again I just doing the clean jokes. As long as you get them really tight in your head, it's all really good. But me, the kid jerking off in the view is funnier than ever.
Is that great? Why didn't you jerk off?
All right, so we get you
Just
on
the priest saying that is the whole deal. You know?
It's great. Cameo.com at Jackie Martling if you'd like to get some of your personal ones yourself. You could also get me where, and by the way, if you like us, tell us in the comments, like and subscribe. And more importantly,
also anybody, I answer to every email. So if you want to email jokeland at AOL.com, JOKELAND at AOL.com, and be on the lookout for, what would you call it? It's not a sequel to my book because it doesn't come after. It's like a sister. It's a companion reader to my first.
Companion reader. And thank you to Charlie Fisher for coming in here. We'll see you guys next week. Everything's been too much fun. And Jackie, have a great Halloween.
You too.
You too, brother. See you later. Take care, Charlie. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Johnny boy.
Take care. Bye-bye.